Hey there, welcome to Northern Magpie. My name's Karen, and today I'm going to be making some safety eyes for a project that I'm doing. I'm actually doing a pattern test. It's a kitsune or fox pattern, and I wanted to make a sakura type kitsune, something springy because it's still winter. So anyways, I thought, why not film the process and you guys can see what I do. I'm going to be using UV resin, 30 millimeter eyes, and polymer clay slices. I've never actually used polymer clay slices with UV resin on eyes like this before, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I have seen other people do it though, so it should work out. So fingers crossed. I'm going to turn you around now so that you're pointing down. You can see what I'm doing, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so I have one flower slice put on there right now just to kind of show you what I'm planning to do. One set is going to have the white flowers just going around this part of the eye, and it's going to have like a light pink background, which is this color here. Get it in the frame. Oh, I just saw it says gel-like polish, so that might not work because I'm trying to use gel polish, which activates with the UV and the sticker says no UV needed, so yeah. Okay, anyways, we might try it anyways. I'm just not sure how it would work with nail polish, but maybe this is a good way to figure it out. The other one, the other side, is going to have these little pink sakura flowers, and the backing is going to be one layer of, and this is gel polish, I know, this sparkly white gel polish, and then because that's not opaque, I'll also put a layer of this, which is an opaque white gel polish, supposedly. I have not tried this one yet, so we'll see. I tried the sparkly white one when I did the eyes for the Wendigo, which you can see in my episode 4 video. I actually did film that. I may or may not try to edit that because I don't know how well that turned out. But anyway, so what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this off, and I'm going to put just like a very thin layer of UV resin on the eyes just so that the polymer clay slices will stick. So this is the UV resin that I'm using. It's a hard type resin, which means it cures hard, like a very hard plastic. So I've got this little dish here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of the resin in this dish. Now this bottle is almost empty, so we may or may not be able to get it to come out. There we go. Now that's way more than I need just to do this thin coat, but I'm also going to be doing another coat at the end to cover up the clay slices and make sure they're very well protected. So anything that I don't use in this this layer will get used up then. So I'm just going to apply it with this little silicone tool here. And it just needs to be a very thin layer. Basically all we're trying to do is just stick the polymer clay slices onto the eyes right now. So I just took a little bit of my tool and I'm just spreading it around so that they'll stick. I'm going to do the same to the other three. So I may or may not leave this audio track in, depending on how it goes. I'm not alone in the house, so it is possible that there will be other noises in the background, but we'll see what happens. So I'm just going to get a nice light layer on here. And last one. And as you can see, I am wearing gloves. Resin can be very toxic, so it's not something that you want to get on your skin. And even though I'm not planning on touching the resin, you never know what might happen. So just to be safe. Okay, so now I'm going to start placing the flowers. Like I said, this is the first time I try using polymer clay slices like this, so it is a complete learning experience. The very thin layer of resin that I put on there first would be perfectly fine for something like glitter, but with the polymer clay slices being heavier, it might not be enough. So if we have to restick some of them, then we will. I'm not sure how well you can see it on camera, but you may have noticed that I left the plastic on the fronts of these eyes, and I just made sure that none of the plastic was coming up over the edge onto the back. But I like to do that and leave the plastic on them right up until the time that I use them, just to make sure that the front stays nice and scratch free. I'm going to move my resin out of the way here, my uncured resin, and those are on there, so I'm going to put the light on and we'll do 90 seconds and see how well they're stuck after that. Okay, so we're done with the first 90-second cure, so let's see if these are actually stuck. So far, they seem to be. None of them are moving, so that's a good sign. Let's try the pink. And all I'm doing is I'm just pushing just the slightest amount on each slice just to see if it moves. And so far none of them did, so that's awesome. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to put a layer of this, the sparkly gel polish. Okay, so this is the white gel polish, and I'm just going to dab it on here. I don't need that much on the back of the slices. It's more in between the slices because that's where you're going to see it show up. I really hope that you guys can see this. Like I said, I'm pretty new to filming my process like this, so hopefully each time I do something like this, I'll get a little bit better at it. And I'm going to make sure it goes right in so that we don't see any blank spots from the front, though we will check to make sure. I actually got the idea for using gel polish from another YouTuber, and unfortunately I cannot remember her name right now, but I will put it up on the screen, and I'll put a link in the description to her safety eye video where she was using the gel polish. There's one. And I just realized that I wasn't going to put the white on behind the white flowers. But you know what? Apparently we're going white today, and we'll see how it shows up. It's very hard to be neat when you're working with this kind of brush. Normally, if I was using paint, I would use a much finer brush, like an actual fine paintbrush. But I didn't want to destroy any of my paintbrushes by using them with the gel polish. So we'll see how this comes out, and maybe in the future I'll use a paintbrush. So on to the pink now. Sorry about hitting the camera. Okay, if you go over the edge like that, a great way to clean up resin is just using a little alcohol wipe. So there we go, just like that. So now it's clean around the edge. And these, I just got these on Amazon. It was a package of like 200 and some. I don't remember what the price was, but it was under $10. Very convenient. Okay, so that is on there now. And one thing I've noticed with the sparkly gel polish is that it takes a very long time to cure, much longer than just the plain solid polish. So we're just gonna give this a few runs at 90 seconds. Okay, so we are done using the lamp for now. So let's have a look and see how they look from the other side. So you can kind of see them. It's not as much contrast as I would like. And just to show you that the sparkly polish is not completely opaque, I'm just going to put a black mouse pad behind it so you can see it kind of darkens it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the backs of both of these sets of eyes with the opaque white polish, and we'll see how how it turns out. These are the ones I'm really excited about. I think those are really pretty. I don't know, you guys can tell me what you think, but I think they're really pretty. Okay, so let's move on to putting the white, opaque white gel polish on the backs. Not that one. This one. This is the one that we're going to use. I don't know if it shows the color anywhere. That's the brand name. Okay, so let's give it a try. Okay, so here we go with a layer of the white. Oops, big glob. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, so let's spread that around. And we're going to try and go a little further over the edge than the glitter polish, just to make sure that it looks solid from the other side. There we go, and I got it all over my gloves. This is why we wear gloves. Try a little less on the brush this time. Something I just thought about is that we're adding quite a bit of thickness to the back of the eyes here, and I wonder if it's just if it'll make a difference in how far the back will go onto the eye when we have it on the plush. I know there was one plush that I did that I actually had to put the eye, and it was a 30mm eye. I had to put the backing on through 2 layers of blanket yarn, crocheted blanket yarn. And I have 2 types of backs for my eyes. One are the flat back type, and then the other are the dome type. And I like to use a flat back because according to reports they're a little more secure, but it would not go on. I just could not get it to go far enough onto the post that it would clip together. So I ended up having to use the dome back. So I'm just kind of wondering how much thickness, putting the slices and then the thick gel polish on here, how much thickness that's going to add to the actual eyes. It would be interesting to see if I have problems putting the backs on, like I did when I went through 2 layers of fabric. I mean, obviously it's not going to be as thick as 2 layers of blanket yarn, but it's definitely thicker than it would be if you just had like some paint, or like the glitter discs that you get with the eyes when you order the eyes. Not that they're overly thin, but they're certainly a lot thinner than what we've got going on here. So apparently I've got enough resin on my gloves now that it's dripping. Okay, so we're going to move this over here, so I can actually get to it. I haven't been checking the camera at all, so I really hope you can still see what I'm doing here. I always find experiments like this really interesting. So I don't know if other people do, but I love watching people experiment with different techniques and trying new materials and see how different things interact together. So I'm also not used to talking while I'm doing experiments like this. Usually I just have like music playing or YouTube videos, podcasts, or something like that playing in the background. Hopefully I haven't been rambling too much and being boring. Okay, so I think we're good. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to give another shot with the UV lamp. What I'll do is I'll give them 2 90-second blasts, and then I'll put them in the aluminum tray and take them out and set them in the sun, because there isn't really anything else that I wanted to do to these eyes. So we'll do that, and then I will come back and show you how they turned out. So I just wanted to show you how I get them ready to go outside in the sun. So this is just the aluminum foil tray, and I've got them sitting face down. They do still have the protective plastic on them, and I'm just going to sit them in the full sun just like that. Hi, welcome back. It's the next day. Unfortunately, the eyes that we did yesterday didn't work out the way I was hoping they would. I'll try to show you, but you're probably not going to be able to see very well on the camera. I'll just show you one of each. So this is the pink eye. Let me try and block my face so you can see it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. The problem is that the UV resin seeped in under the polymer clay slices, and I'll show you this one. The same thing happened with this one, and let me see if I can get it to focus. Sorry, I'm still figuring. Anyways, you can't really see the flowers, and it's because the gel polish seeped in underneath the slices. So the super thin layer of UV resin works great if you're using like the shaped glitter, like I used on the other eyes that I did. Do I have them here? Oh, yeah. So the thin layer of UV resin works great if you're doing eyes like this, where you're using the glitter, because it basically you just need to stick the glitter onto it. But with the thicker polymer clay slices, they're not completely flat, perfectly flat. So we're going to need a thicker layer of resin. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try this again. We're going to do a set of eyes with the pink flowers, a set of eyes with the white flowers, using a thicker layer of UV resin. Then we're going to change it up after that, because yesterday what I did was I put a layer of the sparkly gel polish, and then I did a layer of opaque gel polish. And I'm actually going to go a different route today, because I changed my mind on the colors that I wanted for the project that these eyes are supposed to be for. So this time we're going to use a layer of glitter paint, and I'll show you. It's this here. This is the Folk Art Extreme Glitter. Hopefully that's focused. And what this is it's like a clear, it almost seems like PVA glue or something like that. And then the glitter is suspended in that. So the base, the paint part, the liquid paint part dries clear. Sometimes it's tinted, like this will probably dry with a bit of a yellowish tint to it. But then the glitter is what really shows up in the dry paint. So I'm going to do a layer of this. And then behind that, I'm going to do a layer of iridescent paint. And I'm just going to use this paint. And it's just, the brand is Magic Fly. I just found it on Amazon. It was a set of, I think, 12. or 24, I can't remember now, but it was a bunch of different colors of iridescent paint. And so then when this dries, it's got a nice metallic sheen to it, kind of as if you were using mica powders. But this is a lot easier to use. So that's what we're going to do. That's the plan. I'm going to turn you around now and face you down so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll give you a closer look at the eyes that we did yesterday too, so you can get a better idea of what happened with them. Okay, let's turn this around. Okay, so first off, I'll show you the ones that I did yesterday. So this is the white. So you see what I was talking about, how the glitter has, like the glitter gel polish has kind of seeped in under the edges. So it makes it really difficult to see the white flowers. And this is the pink. It's not as bad as the white. Like, I think you could still use these. I mean, I'm gonna still use these, just not for the project that I was thinking of. But as you can see, like down here, it's still seeped in under the edges. I mean, this one you can hardly see it at all. So yeah. So we're gonna try this again with those, the same slices, but I'm gonna use a thicker layer of the UV and make sure that I push the slices in fairly well, and we're gonna see if that makes a difference. So I'm not gonna record this part just because, I mean, I recorded this yesterday, and basically the only difference is that I'm gonna be making a thicker layer. So I'll be back. And sorry about that, I forgot to start recording again. So as you can see, I've got one eye done already. So now we're going to do the other ones. So now I'm just pushing the slices down into the resin. Just want to make sure that I don't have any air bubbles underneath them. Okay, so I think that one's good. So now we're going to do the white ones. So I don't think I'm going to use this one. I don't know if you can see, there's a big flake on the edge. So I'll just put that one over there. Might be able to fix it later, but. Okay, move things around here a little bit just to tidy them up. That's the problem with that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why it doesn't look right. We need another one there. Just gonna have another look, make sure that I'm happy with that. This one doesn't quite look right here. How's that? That looks better. Let's move this one over a little. Okay, I think I'm good with that. So let's move this out of the way and let's cure. Okay, so now we're switching to paint. We're going to start with a layer of this. And I'm taking off the glove because I don't need it for the acrylic paint. And I like to do this, just take it out of the cap and then refill the cap and take it from that whenever I need more. So I'm just basically going to dab it on here. And I like to, because it's glitter, I like to dab rather than stroke it, just because you get a better coverage with the glitter. So I'm not bothering to paint over the flowers. I just basically want to see it in between the flowers. So, and just to peek and see how it's looking from the front. This is how it's looking so far. Now, the yellow color is going to disappear mostly as it dries, and you're going to see just the sparkle. There's still going to be a yellow tinge to it, but you're going to see the green a lot when we put the green on after. I want to make sure I get right to the edge. Just realized I didn't get right to the edge over here. It doesn't really matter if you have like little bubbles, just because this is the glitter coat and not the opaque. And I don't know if you're going to see any of this around here, but we're just going to dab a bit there anyways, just for the sake of continuity. Okay, so I'll move on to the other one now. And if you go over the edge a little bit, it doesn't really matter, because it's going to be sunk into the plush. You're not going to see that. Just do a check, make sure the yellow is not coming through. And as you can see, it's not. We got it sealed up much better. I know it's hard to see because the plastic is still on there, but you'll see that in the final reveal. Okay, so I need to reload my cap here with some more. So I just put the cap on and I give it another good shake. Apologies if I'm shaking the camera. And voila, refill. I'm just going to check here. I just need a little bit more right here. You can see it's starting to get clear already as it dries. Okay, so let's do this one now. And I'm getting it all over me. It is impossible for me to do anything with any sort of paint without getting it all over my hands. We'll just do a quick check on this one. So you can see it's not coming through. So that is definitely the way to do it. we want to use the polymer clay slices, we have to make sure that we got a thicker layer, a thicker base layer of the UV resin. Okay, so just gonna double check here for the coverage. Yeah, okay, so on to the last one. And it looks like maybe I didn't place my flowers as nicely as I should have on this one. It's so hard to see. But it looks like I should have maybe put that flower a little more this way and maybe spread them out a bit more, but so I think that's it. And actually, if you look at the first one now, you can see how it has dried completely clear with just the glitter. And if I flip it over, you can see, well, sort of, it's hard to see with the shape of the eye, but I'll show you after it's dry. Okay, so I'll see you probably in about an hour when we're ready to do the second coat of paint. Okay, so we're back. It's been probably about an hour, hour and a half, I'm not sure. But as you can see, they are dry now, and they have dried just with a yellow tinge. Like the back is completely clear. So it wouldn't be enough to leave them like that and put them in the plushie. I mean, you could if you wanted to have the color of the plushie show through, but I'm going to cover that with a metallic paint. So like I said, I'm going to use the green metallic paint to paint the pink flowers. And I was going to use the green for these too, but I changed my mind for the colors that I'm going to use for the plush, and I decided I'm going to go with Bernat Mystical and Crystal Ocean for the main color and Sunshine for the accent color. So the yellow sparkle still works out great for that, but I'm going to use a blue metallic paint to go on the back. And I had this blue, but it wasn't quite the right color. So I added a splash of this in with it. I used probably 2 parts of the blue and then 1 part of the purple, and that gave me the perfect color. So let's start with the green. Okay, so once again, I'm going to use my trick of using the paint just in the cap. So and I'm just dabbing it on, just enough to get full coverage. So I'm just going to flip it over and have a look at it from the front. See what we think. I think that's really pretty. I'm just checking for any bits that maybe aren't as covered as they should be. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more. And like I said, I get paint all over me. I'm just going to add a little bit more just around this edge, because I feel like you can kind of see that a little bit. go a little further over the edge. Okay, so I'm going to do the other one. I'm currently trying to figure out a better way to hold these safety eyes while I paint them, so they're not sort of wobbling around and sliding around all over the place. I have tried sticking them to tape, but I don't know, it didn't work very well. They'd kind of get stuck in the wrong angles, and anyways, I'll let you guys know if I come up with something that works. Okay, so I think that one's good. All right, so now we're going to switch over to the other color. So I just mixed those other two that I showed you, mixed them together in this, and the paint was really super thick. So I just added, this is what I like to use to thin my acrylic paints. This is, see if I can get it in here, Golden Airbrush Medium. As you can see, this is an enormous bottle. So I just put a little bit in this little dropper bottle and labeled it. And then I think I used about 15 drops or so. I add usually about 5 drops at a time and then mix it up and see how I like the consistency. And as you can see, this is actually much thinner than the other one. I put this on fairly heavily just because I want to make sure that the end product is opaque. So, that's interesting. The yellow is much darker than I expected. Well, I'm going to keep going and we'll see how this looks at the end. It looks green. Oh well. Okay. Well, we'll see how it looks when it dries. Anyways, we will leave this for now. And I think I'll probably give it a couple hours worth of dry time. And then we'll have a look at it later. Okay, bye-bye. So here are the eyes all finished. Trying to get them in the sun so you can see the sparkle. And then the one in the middle is one of the first batch. So you can see how the sparkle polish went right in under the edge and got between the polymer clay slice and the plastic part of the eye. So let me turn this around a little bit like this so you can see the other ones a little better. So there we go. Hey, so I'm going to wrap it up there. This video went a little bit longer than I intended, but I hope it was interesting for you. Leave me a like if you liked it. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear it. And I'm planning on doing some more like this in the future. I have some more techniques I want to try out, especially with polymer clay. So if that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to see you again in the future. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye.